my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. Live from the Virginia Beach studios, it's the Tsunami Digital Media Podcast. Oh, I have never heard a soda open so cleanly. Listen to that, huh? Oh, yeah. So, what's up, man? It's Friday, dude. Here we are. We're doing it again.
Yes, sir.
Man, we had had a number of people watch the show.
That was cool.
That was way cool, man. I mean, people I haven't connected with in a while. That was neat. That was real cool, man.
Yeah, no real promotion, just sharing it on a page that really doesn't have a lot of followers either. I think we got like double the views of followers on the actual page. Yeah,
that was wild, and it was really cool to see our YouTube page grow a little bit. So thank you for that, man. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
thank you.
Baby steps.
Thank you.
Baby steps. It's all cool.
Man.
It's all cool.
Yeah, we almost didn't do this podcast, dude. I became quite ill.
Right.
Yeah, very ill. It was not good. No, about 48 hours ago. It was rough.
Yeah, well, thankfully you're with us, and we're here for it. You good over there?
Yeah, no, not really.
All right, well.
We'll be all right. What do you think about that? How's that? No? All right, we're going this way. Ready? 3, 2, 1, boom.
Good.
Yeah, man. Dude, went to Mount Trashmore for the first time in a while.
When?
Before the sickness.
Oh, before the plague?
Yeah, before the sickness. It was literally the day that I got real sick. Yeah, I haven't been there in a while. And you know what I had never done was walked around the entire the lake there.
Just the lake or the
lake.
The mount, okay.
Yeah, the lake. It was nice, man. Mount Trashmore, dude. It's a mountain of freaking trash.
Yeah, they say if you stay there for too long, like it leaks radiation or something like that. Like it's got like a certain level of pollution that's like.
Visit Virginia Beach.
Yeah, trace.
Kids Cove, man. I remember growing up doing Kids Cove a lot. Kids Cove used to be. It was a lot more dangerous when we were younger. You remember what Kids Cove used to be?
It used to be wood.
It was wood.
Yeah.
And it was super dude. It was full of splinters and it was like hornets' nests.
Yeah, and now it's I mean it's cool now. The floor they got like the AstroTurf floor, or whatever the heck.
Yeah. So when you fall off the slide and you bounce your head 3 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
It's a little bit safer. Yeah, I always remember the bees' nest. It was it was a hazard, man. It was fun. It was like you'd be playing tag, and it was kind of the strategy. Do you get close to the bees' nest? Nobody's gonna get you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we hung out more in the neighborhood than anything. I think we went to Kids Cove as a kid. I went a few times, but I can count on my hand how many times we went. It was more just outside of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Just so we used to have this thing where like you would have to come in like almost a streetlight joke, but that was kind of true. Like around the time the streetlight turns on, you had to be back home. But it was more like we used to, like me and Jonesy, we used to have like a 2-3 block radius. But as I got a little more bold, I used to stretch how far we were supposed to be allowed to go. Like my dad would be like, you can go there. And it'd be like, is he looking? Like we go a little further and a little further. We ended up going like, we stretched our own radius like a mile or two. We'd like walk all the way to 7-Eleven, go get drinks, come back.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, how old were you when you were doing that?
Oh, I was legit maybe 9 or 10 years old when I would walk to 7-Eleven by myself, go buy a drink, come back.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about doing that now. Would you let your 9-year-old go down the block?
I've thought about just telling her to go do it. Like I've honestly thought about telling her, like giving her some cash and be like, go get yourself lunch at Hardee's. Like go walk down the block and go get it. Just to see like, for her to experience that or whatever.
Yeah.
I've thought about it.
And leave your smartphone at home.
She hasn't done that yet. Nah, her phone, I got super strict rules with the phone because there's too much information on the phone that these kids like have access to. So she, like the rule we have with her, she has an iPhone and it's like, we don't let her put anybody else's number in there. That's for family only. That's to let us know you got home from school, you left from school, and that's it. And you don't even take the phone out the house. I've told her joking around, but dead serious. I'm like, don't even bother telling anybody you have a phone because you're just gonna get embarrassed. Like, because I have the apps locked, I have the internet locked, I got the camera locked.
Yeah.
It's just
that's called being a good parent, man.
And like some people might feel like that's super constricting. It's like, oh, why are you doing that? But at the same time, it's like I'm gonna control what I can control. Kids are gonna get exposed to a whole bunch of stuff regardless. Like you can't cover the sun with your hand. But that doesn't mean I'm just gonna give up and say, the whole world is yours. Go do whatever you want. Like,
yeah,
it's just the unfiltered internet. There's way too much. You can see all kinds of explicit content. You can see there's murders on the internet that you can see, like stuff that adults don't have any business really looking at, and kids could just Google like, I want to see so and so getting killed, and it's just like video pops up. Just and nah, I'm not gonna deal with that. I'm not the way I'm gonna deal with it. Just block it for now, and you'll be an adult one day and you'll make your choices. But for now, I'm making the choice for you.
I remember being exposed to heavy winds on my bike. You know what I mean? I remember I would go to come hang out with you guys when we were younger over at Nick's house, and I lived in Red Mill Farms.
Right.
And I used to get on my bike, and I would bike all the way through Red Mill Farms, come all the way out to like Culver Lane and Ocean Lakes, go all the way down that way, and then over to Nick's house. Mm-hmm. And we'd all get together. But I remember those freaking bike rides, dude. It'd just be like,
yeah.
Yeah, man. But that was a 25-minute bike ride one way.
It was a while, and it was a little longer for me actually. But it's like if you didn't get a ride, you either walked. I walked over there a few times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done the walk
like
before.
a couple miles.
Yeah, I did the walk before. We used to do all kinds of crazy stuff as kids, man. Just like I'm not seeing a lot of kids outside anymore.
It's good and bad.
You know? Like, where are they at?
Yeah, they're playing video games, watching TV, Netflix, and all that stuff. I mean,
yeah.
The good thing is it's funny. Like, so I like heavy gamer. There was a period where my parents used to like they couldn't stand it, like how much I played a game. Like it would bother them that like he plays the game all day.
Take the game away.
Yeah,
take the game away, parents.
It would be the thing.
Just take it away.
My dad told me that he had like this realization at one point. He was like, well, he's playing the game. I know where he's at. Like I know he's safe. Like, so maybe I'd rather him to do something else, but I know where he's at. Yeah. So he realized too with me is like there was a balance. Yeah, I played the game a lot, but I spent a lot of time outside too. So
yeah, no, it was always a balance. It was like and it's kind of what I'm doing with my son now. It's he's getting into gaming. He likes to game because he sees me game, and I'm pro video game, man. I'm into it. In moderation. Everything in moderation, man. It's just got to be in moderation. I said, okay, we want to play some Fortnite tonight. Okay. Well, number one, we're going to play together.
Right.
We're going to split screen. We're going to sit together, and we're going to laugh, and we're going to high five, and we're going to fist bump, and we're going to play together. But before we even get to that, you get to earn 20 minutes of Fortnite if we go outside for half an hour. We're going to go outside half an hour. We're going to throw the football around.
That's cool.
We're gonna practice our letters. And we're gonna do some handwriting or an assignment from kindergarten. We're gonna knock that out. Let's get you another 20 minutes. You're gonna help around the house. You know what I mean? You're gonna help put your laundry into your drawers. You're gonna help me, dude. I got a 6-year-old with a giant vacuum that's taller than him, running into the friggin' crown mold on the bottom. But he's helping, man.
Yeah.
He's helping out. He's got to earn it. But that's kind of how it was when I was growing up. My parents were, strict, but, they weren't like crazy strict. But, in terms of the gaming thing, it was like, you got to go out there and you got to do some yard work for a while. You got to get your homework done. You got to get your yard work done. You got to be a part of this family. And then you can have 30, 45 minutes max of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that stuff, I think kids, every kid is going to be upset about chores and stuff like that. And like, so I spent like countless summers underneath cars because we just didn't have the money to fix a car. So my dad would have to go out there, and he didn't know a whole lot. He figured out on his own. But the whole point was just like, if I'm going to be outside, you're going to be right there next to me. And the concept of like, this is a wrench, this is a screwdriver, these are these parts of the car or whatever, and you better pay attention. And I remember as a kid, we used to fix the car like right there in the parking lot. So a whole bunch of friends would be playing like right at the park across the street from us, and I'm underneath a car, and I'd look over and I'm like frustrated, like furious, like I don't want to be here. I'd rather be doing that. Yeah. But then those things today, it's like now that I'm an adult, I don't need to take things to a mechanic unless it's the end of the world.
Now as an adult, Tony could teach me literally in my parking lot less than a year ago how to change my brakes.
Yeah, little things like, I can't do crazy stuff like,
I have never seen you more excited than the day that I told you I didn't know how to change my brakes.
I don't know how accurate that is, but
no, dude, there was a glow that came over you and a smile. You were like, okay, you know what? We'll do it right here. No, we'll do it right here. No, we'll do it. We'll get the stuff and we'll change them. I'll teach you how to do it. And that was a fun day, man.
Yeah, and those things. Day. Yeah, I mean, most kids don't realize that doesn't pay off until years and years later.
Dude, I had 2 dads and I don't know how to work on cars. I got 2 dads and I don't know how to work on cars.
I mean, that says a few things. I think the first thing it says is that you were fortunate, and that's good. We strive to get to the point where our kids are not going to be familiar with certain hardships, right?
Yeah.
So that's
it's a
good.
skill I would have liked to have learned that I'm, trying to dabble in now.
Well, you learn now and you pass that a Vic, and it's good to know. I mean, even if you don't necessarily need it, it's good to know. Like, if something does happen, you can just take care of yourself. But
you make a good point, though, man. To hear that story about you and working on the cars with your dad, it's just, I feel like that's kind of a parenting nowadays, man.
mm-hmm.
It's different. I'm not saying it's worse. I mean, I'm kind of saying it's worse, but it's just different now. Just meaningful time together with your kids. You know what I mean? Like, just regardless of what it is or what you're doing, just meaningful time.
Well, part of that, it could get real complicated because this is not a political podcast, but I think there's something to say about a difference of economies. I think there's something to say about our parents, and certainly their parents came from a generation where you really could have gotten by with one income.
This is a very, very good point.
So when you're in a multi-income necessity where your wife has to work, you sacrifice the most valuable thing, and it's your family time. So we end up in situations where we're dropping off our kids to daycares and people we essentially don't know, where back in the day, you could have had at least a mom stay home with the kid, at least for the first, 3, 4, 5 years. They were taking care of that. Now it's like you have the kid, and within a month or two, sometimes sooner, you have to drop the baby off at the daycare.
Yeah, no. And it's wild, right? Because it's so. I mean, I come from. I was an early childhood educator. I have a associate's degree in that, and I was, I did the whole preschool thing for a couple of years, taught preschool, and I know exactly what you're talking about. And I saw it firsthand. You have dual income families, and first of all, the price of freaking daycare it's just astronomical. It's unreal, man. Yeah. It's unreal. I mean, it's a mortgage payment in some cases. But anyway, these kids would get dropped off at 6:30 in the morning, and they wouldn't be getting picked up till 6 o'clock at night.
Right.
I mean, I was with those kids a lot of the time.
Right.
I'm not going to say more, but 5 days a week.
Well, you're there more than the parents.
Unfortunately, in some cases that was the case. But I'm sure they're working hard just to make it happen.
Right.
And it's just this vicious circle. So they work all day to get what they need to make this whole machine work, and they get home and they're exhausted. And the kid is excited to be home, and by that time it's 6:30, 7 o'clock. It's time to eat. And then if you're really trying to do it the right way, it's 7:30, 8 o'clock. It's time to get cleaned up and get to bed, and let's do it all over again the next day. So it's difficult, man. I get it. It's difficult. Times have changed for sure.
Yeah, no, it's hard to strike that balance. And then with that, we're taking more and more time out of time at home, because now not only do we have two incomes, we have all these other things we're trying to accomplish at the same time. So like if you're a homeowner, even if you're renting or whatever, like you got to get home, and not only does the kid have to do homework, there's time essentially lost or whatever. Not lost, but the time that you could have been playing and creating memories and stuff like that different. But you got to fix stuff. You got to do upkeep on your own stuff. You got to fix cars. You got to handle appointments. You got to do all this other stuff within, I don't know, you sleep 6-7 hours if you're lucky. You work 8-9 hours plus travel. So you got maybe half an hour of travel and stuff like that, sleeping, all this stuff, and then washing up. You've really got 1 or 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
That you're really negotiating with every single day.
What's that Sinatra song? That's life.
That's life. That's on the Joker.
That's life, man.
That's life.
That's life.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be.
I think that's the
goal here.
It doesn't have to be that way. And what we're getting at is working for yourself doesn't mean you're gonna work less. Oftentimes it means that 8-hour shift is now 16 hours. The point is, though, you eventually strive to get to the point where it's like when it's time for you to take time off, you make that decision on your own.
Yeah, you're not answering to anybody.
Yeah, you're not playing the schedule game, and those things, they're important, man, because if you're going to run a business like us, to be honest, we want that flexibility, but let's be honest, we're not always going to be able to offer that flexibility to somebody else.
Yeah, no.
You got to shoot today, and I needed you there, you got to be there. And if you're not going to be there, who else is going to do it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but either way, though, there's levels to it, right? If you're an employee, that's just part of your life. You have to accept the fact that you're going to have to live by somebody else's schedule a lot of times. So, yeah.
And that's cool. And that's life.
Yeah. And it's again, I said it the last time, and I always say it, you got to define your own happiness. If you're happy with a 9 to 5 and the security that brings, I'm nobody to tell you you should want more. Like,
Yeah.
you might be way happier than me, and you know, because that's the thing. Like, we see it all the time. People with way more money are less happy than people with, you know, a little bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you got to figure that stuff out for yourself. But
Worst job you ever had? Worst job. I want to put him on the spot.
Nah, I know the worst job. It's just I don't.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
I don't want to put them. I mean, people know. Like, it's funny. Like, my worst jobs have been the ones that also gave me the best like lessons, and that's not even trying to be cliche, but really, it did mold me. It did help me understand how powerless you really are. It also helped me understand how little money really affects your ability to accomplish what really matters.
Yeah.
Because most of the things, like a large percentage of what it's going to take to get your dreams is not going to have to do with money. It's not. It's going to have to do with you sacrificing your time. So again, that little bit of 1 or 2 hours of time you negotiate every day with your family, sometimes you have to give that up. And that's just what you have to do. And you go whine and complain about it and say, nah, but I got to do this and I got to spend time with this. It's like, you will find time for that, but you're going to have to sacrifice some of that time. And that takes a lot of maturity. That takes, you know, that's a whole nother conversation. That's why it's important to pick the right partner. It's taking time to find the right woman in your life, or you know, the right spouse to really hold you down and understand that these sacrifices are going to lead to something bigger. And right now it's going to hurt, but eventually it will. It'll be better. It'll be better. It's important to make those right decisions. Because I see a lot of people, like I hate when people blame their girlfriends or their boyfriends or whatever on, like, for the fact that they're not accomplishing certain things. Like, work together, figure it out, talk it out. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. That's something I think we should go back to in the old school sense. Is like, get to know people a little more, man. Like, not just jump into something so quick.
Target was the worst job I've ever had in my life.
Was it?
Straight up, Target on Upton.
My supervisor's name was.
Yeah.
And I
oh no, I'll tell it to you right now. No, I'm not
don't
gonna,
do that.
I'm not
man.
gonna mess up.
That's why I don't. Honestly,
Well, here's the
honestly,
thing.
the only reason I don't name it, and the people that know me know what the answer to that question is. The only reason I don't name it is because I don't want to. Like, there's people still probably working there, and I don't want anybody feeling bad.
And,
like,
no, that was supposed to be funny. Hopefully you laughed at that, but for real, it was the worst job I've ever had in my life. I met some awesome people, dude. I love the people I worked with. I enjoyed many aspects of the job, but it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. I can see people being very successful there. I mean, people have made careers at you know, in retail. Mm-hmm. And you know, and I try to teach this to my son. It's like, you got to try stuff, man. Yeah. You got to try things. You got to go out there and do stuff. You're not going to know what you're going to like. You're not going to know what you're going to hate. What you're going to be good at, what you're going to be terrible at. You got to go out there and you got to test the waters, man. So it just wasn't for me, dude. But
what's like an ideal situation for you with your son, like professionally? Like, so high school's wrapping up, and what is on Vic's mind?
Man, you know what's funny? He's been talking a lot about that lately. Mm-hmm. Talking about what he's going to do for a job. And I said, well, what do you want to do for a job? This is to a 6-year-old.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
He's thinking about it, though. He goes, well, I like football. I said, yeah, okay. He goes, I can make videos like you. Mm-hmm. I said, yeah, you could do that. I said, but what do you want to do? He goes, I don't know yet.
That's fine.
And I said, that's cool, man. That's cool. And here's the thing. Like, my parents, they never pushed me to do anything. They only pushed me to do whatever I was going to do your best.
Right.
You know, and put your all into it.
Right.
They wanted me to do good in school. You know, I mean, that's every parent, right? Mm-hmm. But like the whole music, you know, the music thing, they never, I mean, both my parents, my mom and my dad, were very musical. They were musicians, but they never were like, and today's the day, here's your sticks.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was just, you know, I was always beating on my desk and all that, and it kind of naturally led to that. But I think the moral of that is just, the ideal situation for me is that we have the means to allow Vic to explore whatever he wants to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? If we had the means to let him really get a good, you know, taste of a lot of different things, man.
Yeah.
Let him figure it out.
Yeah, I've been pushing, and at least more than anything, Hector, at 4 years old, I mentioned little things to him. He's not going to, you know, age appropriate stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I still tell them both. It's like you got to figure out what you want to do. Where does your brain wander when you're falling asleep, when you're waking up? Like, what are the things you're passionate about? And whatever that is, you got to be the best at it. I don't rule out anything, honestly.
Yeah.
The passion has to be there. The passion has to be there equal with their desire to go do it. Like, as far as if you say you want to go, if you want to be a streamer, right? That hasn't come up at home, but I hear that a lot of times at work with my coworkers, like their kids, want to be a streamer or whatever. If you want to be a streamer, you better be streaming every night right now. Like, you better be learning how to, speak on camera. You better be learning, how to produce your own little shows and stuff like that. You better be doing it right now, and don't say this is what you want to do and mom and dad go spend $1,000 so I can just go test to see if I like it. Like,
yeah,
those things you got to show a passion. I don't care what it is. The music thing too. It's like if you want to go rap, I need to see you writing rhymes. Like, you better be writing them every single day. You better be practicing in the mirror.
Mom spaghetti.
Whatever. Yeah. Vomit on my sweater already.
That's right.
He came out with a new album today. Side note, Jerome sent me a link.
We should listen to it.
Yeah, I guess I kind of stay away from stuff like that too much these days, but. Oh, it's interesting that
you're no fun.
It's interesting that so that conversation is. I think it's cool that he's been able to perform this long. And
we're talking about Marshall Mathers, the hip hop mogul, known for his explicit lyrics and controversial topics.
On so many levels right now for for what you're doing.
What is that? We researched this recently.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. We researched this recently. That voice, it's the WTKR News Channel 13. Tonight, a boy was slain at the side of a Wawa parking lot. That voice, Tony, you looked it up. What is it called?
It's called non-regional diction or dictation.
We have made fun of that voice for years. Always wondered why all of the local newscasters in this great country of ours sound like that. It's so silly. It's the most over-the-top thing ever, and you found it out.
It is like a cartoon impression of what you should sound like versus just speaking like a human being, like it's a robotic type of thing or whatever.
So what is the point of it? You looked it up. Tell us a little bit about non-regional.
It has a logical point. I don't know if it's an applicable point.
Yeah.
Right? So the whole logic behind it is that when you're delivering the news, you want to be relatable to everyone. And if you have a national platform, you don't want to come across with the New York accent when you're talking to somebody in California, right? Or even California's not a good example. Maybe like when you're talking to somebody in Texas or something like that, right?
And you've got a Boston accent.
Yeah, like you park the car and all that stuff, right? So the idea is as soon as people start hearing that from you, they tune out. I think they tune out regardless as soon as the news comes on and you're talking anyway.
Yeah, dude. When I turn the TV on and I hear,
any kind of voice, it doesn't matter. Like when you're delivering information in that format, I think it works for a certain demographic, and I think that demographic is slowly going away. Now, I don't even like saying that too much because I'm a fan of show me the data, like the data, whatever. Like, show me where you get that. I'm just going off of a gut feeling that I think most people in their 30s and 40s are not necessarily
tuning into the evening local news.
Yeah, they're not as receptive. We talked about this earlier. Like, I really think most people are listening to their favorite podcasts. Every talk show host has a podcast on the side.
This is what I do, dude. I go like this. News app.
Yeah, you get the quick read.
Here we go. Politico, Reuters, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, Billboard, Washington Post, Fox News, whoa, Newsweek, Huffington Post, okay, Wall Street Journal. I mean, I got them all here, dude.
Yeah, you have all the fake news on there.
I like all the fake news. I get it. I get the fake from the left. I get the fake from the right. I get the fake in the middle. And the fake from the left and the fake from the right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
man.
But the thing is, as far as the visual media and the audio media, I think in 2020, most people, and this is all just gut feeling, I think they more resonate with just plain speak. Just plain news, stuff that's going on in their area, stuff they care about. It's like the whole reality TV concept, right? Like, that's so huge. They want to feel like they're there. Like, and to feel like you're there, you got to be who you are. That's it.
Can you imagine if, like, that's how, like, someone really talked? Like, you go into a 7-Eleven and they're like, hey, honey, how you doing? Oh, is this it for you? Actually, can I also get 2 of those bananas for 2 for 50 cents a piece?
Oh, man.
Thank you so much. Like, it's so
this
funny.
And Pump 6.
It's so funny, man. What is it called again?
Non-regional diction. It's either diction or dictation. I forget.
Non-regional diction. I think that sounds.
I think it's diction.
Learn something new every day here, people. Non-regional diction.
So what that has to do with anything, I don't know. I don't remember how we got off on that side note.
I think I just started talking like that.
No. So it had something to do with something, but the point is, these kids have to chase after what they're passionate about. And it's a good segue into what we have going on this weekend and stuff like that. We don't have to get into specifics or whatever, but it's just pushing these kids to pursue their passion, whatever it is. And parents got to understand, too, there's nothing wrong with being a streamer. There's nothing wrong with being a rapper. Like, now is the time where those things are way more possible to do out of your living room, out of your bedroom than they ever were. Like, there was a time where in the 80s it made sense to tell your kid you're not going to be a singer. It made sense because the access to a studio was incredibly expensive. Technology, made it to where you had to go to a studio. Those things are over now. Now with a little laptop, Pro Tools and a USB cable and a little mic, you can do, decent quality stuff at home. So that goes for most platforms too. Whatever you're selling, whatever your kid wants to sell, if he's knitting socks or whatever, you can market that on Facebook for free.
Isn't that crazy too? Even with these smartphones, man, from from what we do, making videos and things like that. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? Kids nowadays, every one of these young people out here in this great country has one of these that shoot 1080. They shoot 4K video, man. Mm-hmm. Just don't shoot like this. Please stop shooting your videos like this.
If you're gonna shoot, if
let's go like this.
Yeah, if you're trying to shoot an actual formal video,
yeah. But it's cool. Anybody can do it, man. You can get iMovie on here, and you can stitch it all up and cut it and edit it and make your own little movies, man. It's wild.
We'll do that episode soon about what you should be doing if your budget is $0. It's important.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, we hear it all the time when we get the feedback about that the cost of entry is way too much for me to go chase my dream. Again, I talked about it in the very beginning of this little podcast. Like, 90% of the work or a high percentage of the work is going to be the stuff you do for free. The time you give it, in front of a computer, go to the library, whatever. Like, those things still work. Those rules of just hustling and trading your time for knowledge, that's still free and that still works today. So, yeah, I say keep pushing.
Follow your dreams.
Follow your dreams.
Yeah, man.
Because no one else is going to follow them for you.
Tony, you are just a jewel.
I'm just a cornucopia of
you. It just spills out of you, man.
A lot of things spill out of me.
So eloquent.
Depending on who you ask. My wife may tell you what spills out of me more is in terms of just blah, 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 blah. But
next week on the Tsunami Podcast, Tony talks about his wife and his relationship and how he spills the beans every single day.
We could have a relationship podcast.
That'd be fun. Let's bring the wives on.
You think that would be fun? I'm going to go ahead and venture and say that. No, I'm going to go ahead and venture and say this. I am not ready for that. Okay? Me.
Okay.
I'm not ready for it.
We're just talking here, man. Calm down.
I am not ready to have a conversation like that on not with any other spouse present. Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
We'll get there.
Yeah. But
hey, man, I appreciate you, dude.
Yeah, man.
It's good. It's good.
It is good.
That's 2 in a row.
That's 2 in a row. Next time, maybe we got one in between, but we'll get a guest up here soon.
No, for sure.
We'll get a guest up here soon. Scott.
All right, man. Yeah. Scott, we're coming for you. We're coming to get you, Scott.
It's crazy. We talked about doing this 2 years ago, and here we are on
Here we are, dude. Number 2. Awesome, man. I'm Matt.
This is Tony.
And this is the Tsunami Podcast.
Hey, yo.
You're always late. I
Yeah,
can't
man.
take you anymore.